Hello and welcome back to this very special bonus content edition. Now what I'm going to discuss on here is the reasons why I got interested in murders basically. And we have to step back around 2 years ago now when I first started this journey, when it was just me and Kira. And Kira had this book called Foul Deeds and Suspicious Deaths in Southend, which you can see now. And she very kindly lent it to me, and I sort of avidly read it. Now, the thing is, as a paranormal investigator, obviously the internet's a great ally. But when you look up, haunted places, places with paranormal activity, you tend to get the same places come up time and again, and every ghost hunter and paranormal investigator under the sun would already have visited them places. Sure, I'd like to check them out for my own curiosity, but then you have to sort of look around and see the history of an area. The UK is obviously goes back, to the times of Boudicca, the Romans. We've got 2,000 odd years of history in this country, but for my situation, obviously I'm going to concentrate with Southend and its surrounding areas. And Southend indeed itself has a private museum which has been in continued occupation for 900 years. You've got South Church Hall, which isn't much younger. You've got South Church Museum. There's numerous places in Southend which are rich in history. And again, around the surrounding areas. Now, if you've been with my channel for some time, you'll already have seen some of the stuff, indeed the sites I visit where there has been Viking activity. That's what's around us. So you start looking at places where there's a rich history, particularly where things have happened. And in this book, Foul Deeds and Suspicious Deaths, we come across the story of the death of Douglas Kirkcaldy and his protagonist, James McNichol. And it was such a fascinating case. It was ultimately sad, it's never really a happy death, but the fact that two men lost their lives over something that should not have happened, really, it just beggars belief. So for me, this is like a ground zero as to looking at murders, and the nature of how it happened. So we started looking at the history. You turn detective and you take a closer look and you read all the case notes and the history as much as you can. So you then take that extra bit of interest. And once you've done the planning and you've sort of worked out who was there on the day or the night, the date it happened, and so on, that's when you take the next step of the plan. Now, by the time I actually got around to this, Kira had started doing other things, so that's when Tracy and Ricky started getting involved. And obviously, we're still working together now, and we have great fun when we do. And we've uncovered loads of things since. But as I said, for this purposes, once we sort of worked out what had happened here and everything, that's when we took the next step in and got involved. Now, as I said in the video, the initial one, because it ended up being a two-parter, I wasn't sure if I was going to get any activity. It really was a punt, as with a lot of the places I visit. And when I eventually did hit the place, that what came through via the necrophonic spirit box app, if you wish to call it, I even had one of my devices set off in an area where there's nothing. And if you actually look at the picture now, if you see to the sort of top centre, there's a little circle. I think that is part of the anti-aircraft battery once stood. As I say, if you looked at this site now, you'd have no knowledge at all that had been there. and moreover what sad event had occurred. So yeah, once I got the wheels in motion, we got set up, and as I say, I had the case history in front of me, and the main people that were there on the night, and I got a good picture of what happened. I was then able to ask relevant questions, and as I said, the responses I had through Necrophonic, I dare say I'd have got similar ones through the other apps that are available, but at the time the only one I was using was Necrophonic. I didn't have Ghost. I don't think I had GhostTube, and definitely not Spirit Box. It was just literally my Necrophonic, my K2 meter. I've not long had that REM pod, I don't think, my original one, and yeah, and it paid off. So going from this one, the Death of Douglas Kirkcaldy, that's when I started looking around. So that's when I came. It pricked my interest in Rettendon, and with that Rettendon led to Patricia Parsons, and I dare say there will be others, probably around Epping more than anything, because the amount of stuff that's happened now. But you now get an idea and a picture as to what started me off, what pricked my interest into this, and the fact that when a violent event has occurred, it tends to leave behind either a residual effect or possibly spirits that could still be hanging around there. So anyway, I hope that's sort of giving you an idea on what I think of. So I'm going to leave it there. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to join us next week. Take care. Bye-bye.